بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين. We ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us all the sincere intentions for His sake alone. La ilaha illallah. So that's around 7 days that have already passed by. 7, yes? Ramadan, mashallah. Just like that. Just on the way that you might feel that it's only been 2 or 3 days, perhaps 3 or 4 days. Allah Ta'ala revealed in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every soul will taste death. وإنما توفون أجوركم يوم القيامة. And you will all be given your share, you will all be given what you deserve in full on the day of judgment. فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةِ. And whoever is distanced from the fire of hell on that day and admitted into Al-Jannah, فَقَدْ فَازَ. Then indeed this person has been successful. And this is the state of all people, that they will all die, as Allah revealed in the beginning of this ayah. We will all taste death, and we will be repaid in full, compensated for the good and the bad that we did on the day of judgment. And the criterion of success is being distanced from the fire of hell on that day, on the day of judgment. So whoever the signs of the punishment of Allah, the torture, whoever the torture of Allah is distanced from, whoever is kept away from that, if we achieve that and we are admitted into paradise, then we are the ones who are truly victorious and successful. Ahlul Jannah, the people that enter Al-Jannah, they are of different levels. And this is with consideration of their deeds in this life. So, the state of a person in this life, it is complementary to the state of a person in the hereafter. The better they were, the more obedient they were to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala in this life, the higher the rank that they have in the hereafter. So although it is the goal of every single one of us to enter Al-Jannah, there should be between us competition for attaining the higher ranks in paradise. One, after they've set their heart to get to paradise, they should not settle for less. They should not settle for a low rank in paradise. They should not be content with just that. That is good, of course. but they should strive for more, because striving for a higher rank in paradise, it is a result of being more obedient to Allah in this life. It is a reflection of a person's, or the level of a person's love for Allah in this life. The more one loves Allah, the more I or you love Allah, the more you will obey Allah. The stronger a person's iman is, the more they will want to obey Allah, the more they will want to worship Allah, the more time that they have in this world, whether it be these next 10 years that they have left, or that these are the last 7 years that they have left, they will want, they will strive, they will struggle, they will make an effort, they will exert themselves to fill every second in worshipping Allah because they love Allah. There are people who will not worship Allah very much, although they are Muslims. And of course they love Allah. Every Muslim loves Allah. The one that doesn't love Allah is a kafir. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, أفضل الأعمال إيمان بالله لا إله إلا الله ورسوله, and his messenger Muhammadur Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. So the one who truly, the one who actively implements the knowledge that they learn, and they show their devotion in worship to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, they will gain a higher rank in paradise. So although we love good for each other, who is in this life, in terms of working for the hereafter, who is number one? For each and every one of us, we would say, me. It is disliked for a person, if they're able to do a good deed, one good deed, one matter that's good that they could get reward for, it's disliked for them to push someone else forward and say, you do the good deed, you get the reward. It's disliked. Why? Because I should be the one to do that deed. Yes, I'm telling someone else to worship Allah, okay, but when that deed's done, that's it, it's done now. Prime example is if one is praying in congregation and there is a gap in the first row. The Prophet ﷺ made dua for the people that stand in the first row behind the Imam. So if you see a gap, then you should be the one that goes forward. If it's a pubescent person, then they should be the one that goes forward. Now, if a person thinks, well, the Haji Sahib next to me, the elderly person next to me, or my teacher who is standing next to me in the second row, I'll usher them forward. Or they are a respected person in the community, I'll push them forward, I'll push them, I'll usher them forward. Why does a person think like that? A person might think this is good. But they didn't learn this rule in the religion. That when it comes to good deeds, who is number one? Me. Each and every one of you would say that for yourself as well. You are number one. When it's a, let's say, communal effort, when it's a group effort, then yeah, you encourage people. Let's do this deed together. Let's spread the religious knowledge together. Let's donate together. Let's both go there together. Let's talk to these people. Let's prepare these things. Yeah, this is, of course, strength in numbers. But when there are deeds like that, so in that situation, what should a person do? Even if the person next to them is an honorable, noble, even elderly Muslim, you should take that gap in the first row. But you might see people doing the opposite. You might say, no, let him go forward. And you'll stand in the back. Why? You just prevented yourself from that extra reward. How is that? This is disliked. Al-ithar meaning preferring someone else to yourself. Fil qurab, in deeds that give you a higher rank, of course, good deeds. This is disliked. So I mentioned that to highlight that getting a high rank in the hereafter, this is an important matter. Someone might say, I just want to get into paradise. Yeah, okay, good. That's good. But why did Allah send the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam? Why did the Prophet do all these good deeds, the sunnahs, and teach us rules by which we could acquire more good deeds? If you truly love Allah, in kuntum tuhibbun Allah, right? If you love Allah and the Messenger of Allah, then you follow the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in the most perfect way. So the levels in paradise, there are different levels in paradise. In paradise, the pleasure that a person experiences, the pleasures, the different types of pleasures that are available to a person in paradise are of two types. One which we're going to talk about today, and one which we're going to talk about next week, inshallah. One type of pleasure in paradise is the one that is for everyone in paradise. Everyone. Regardless of the status of the person, regardless of how this Muslim lived in this life. If they get into paradise, then they will have this. So there is a general endowment upon the people of paradise that includes lots of things that we're going to talk about today. And then there is a more specific one that is reserved for the perfect Muslims, not just the prophets, the perfect Muslims, which we should all aspire and compete to be like. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, إِذَا دَخَلَ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ الْجَنَّةِ يُنَادِي مُنَادٍ. When the people, he said, of paradise enter it, a caller calls out, meaning an angel. So you imagine that a person gets into paradise. Some of these people will get into paradise straight away. The Day of Judgment for them, which is 50,000 years long, will seem to be as long as the time after one prays the Asr prayer and then they wait for the Maghrib prayer. It's not a long time. That's how the Day of Judgment will feel for some people. These are the pious people. So they will enter Al-Jannah. In the grave, they will have experienced a lot of joy and pleasure, a lot of endowments, and then they, after the Day of Judgment, when they are lifted on high platforms, they will enter Al-Jannah. Also, some people on the Day of Judgment among the Muslims, they will deserve to enter hellfire for a certain amount of time. They will be sentenced to hell in terms of what they deserve, in terms of the deeds that they did in this life, the prayers that they missed, the injustices that they did. But for one reason or another, for sake of one intercession or another, an angel may intercede for them, pious family member may intercede for them, the prophet or a prophet might intercede for them. These people, the punishment that they deserved in hellfire, they are pardoned of it, and they now have entered paradise. Then there are the people who are not pardoned, major sinners among the Muslims. They enter hellfire first. And then when they are brought out of hellfire, the Prophet mentioned alayhi salatu wassalam about their bodies. وَقَدْ امْتُحِشُوا, meaning that their bodies will be burned, charred. Outside paradise, they will be dipped into some water there. And then they will sprout like plants and vegetables sprout. They will become, their skin will become fresh again. After that torment of hell, they will enter Al-Jannah. Then there are the people also who were in this life, they weren't accountable. Children that died before they became accountable. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds who lost their lives. 7, 8-year-olds who died before they became pubescent. Or people who became pubescent, but they remained insane until after puberty. So they were never sane. Likewise, people who never heard the call to Al-Islam. And so they never heard La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. They never heard that in a language that they understand. They lived somewhere on a mountain, let's say, and they worshipped a stone. They never heard La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah in a language that they understand. These people, on the Day of Judgment, they will be tested. And Allah Ta'ala will create within them the correct belief. These people will also be admitted into Al-Jannah while now having the correct belief. They will enter paradise. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا دَخَلَ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ الْجَنَّةِ, when the people of Al-Jannah, when the people of paradise enter it, يُنَادِي مُنَادٍ, a caller among the angels calls out. So you imagine, if insha'Allah, we ask Allah to grant us paradise. Insha'Allah. You imagine a person in paradise after they have suffered. Even if they didn't suffer in the grave or on the Day of Judgment. The things they suffer in this life. Al-Imam Malik radiyallahu anhu, he said, how weak is the human being? He said, تُؤْذِيهِ fikra. Thoughts sometimes, they can hurt a person. Yeah? You think about something, you think about it and you go, puts you off, changes your mood. He said, مَا أَضْعَفَ الْإِنسَانِ تُؤْذِيهِ fikra. How weak is the human being such that even a thought, something that's of his devices, in his heart or mind, he thinks of, and it annoys him. How weak is the human being? So a person who's lived their life thinking, having these thoughts, a person who's lived their life in stress, anxiety, fear, illness, being let down, being harmed emotionally, being harmed physically. A person who has lived their life in sadness. Imagine this person, because they were a believer, they enter paradise. All they've known, all this Muslim has known is pain and hurt. Yes, there have been good days, but most of them have been bad days. Even the weather can have an effect on people. Subhanallah. Cold and rainy and grey. Even that can have an effect on people. So this person who has only known, you could say, 2 lives. One, the life of the world. Then Allahu A'lam what happened to them in the grave. Okay. Then a third type, let's say, of life. They were resurrected and they saw the day of judgment. They saw hellfire being pulled, dragged onto the plains of resurrection by the angels. They heard the mountains being struck and shattered. They saw the angels pouring out of the skies. They saw people walking on their faces. They saw so many different things. Now, they've got to their destination. Whichever one of these people they were, tortured or not tortured, young or old, finally, as they passed over the Sirat, perhaps they fell into hellfire, but now they're in paradise. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا دَخَلَ أَهْلُ الْجَنَّةِ الْجَنَّةِ, when the people of paradise enter paradise, يُنَادِي مُنَادٍ, an angel calls out. Can you imagine, inshallah, being gathered there in paradise after entering it and being mesmerized by all of the different things that are around, by the luxurious smells even, the luxurious view, just that feeling of a place that is so blessed, that has been prepared by Allah, that exists now for the pleasure of the believers. Imagine then an angel calls out and everybody in paradise hears the voice of this angel. And the angel says, and this is an honor also for the people of paradise. The angel says, Ya Ahlal Jannah. Allahu Akbar. O people of paradise. Just on hearing that people will experience joy just by hearing that. Oh, people of paradise. Yani you're part of this, let's say, inner circle. You got that. Ya Ahlal Jannah. Oh, people of paradise. Ya Ahlal Jannah. Inna lakum an tahyaw fala tamutu abada. The angel will say, O people of paradise, you will live and you will never ever die. Allahu Akbar. Ya Ahl al-Jannah, inna lakum an tahyaw. You will live. Fala tamutu abada. You will never ever die. Just by looking around at all of the different things in paradise, the castles in paradise, seeing also the arsh above, the arsh of Allah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, that Allah created as a sign of His great power, seeing the angels, seeing the rivers that flow not in deep channels, but on the surface of the land in paradise, of milk and honey and non-intoxicating wine. A person hears that first sentence that this is forever and ever and ever. If that was said to somebody in this life, that they are among the people of paradise, while they were, let's say, standing in paradise, experiencing paradise, listening in the background while they hear this angel calling out, they can hear, for example, the trees that move. They have a nice hum in paradise. The trees hum in paradise. They make a nice sound. Allahu Akbar. They're smelling at the same time the amazing fragrances. They're looking with these new eyes that they have, that Allah granted them, that can withstand the noor of paradise. They hear, Ya Ahl al-Jannah, Inna lakum an tahyaw fala tamutu abada. You will live and you will never die. وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَصِحُّوا فَلَا تَسْقَمُوا أَبَدًا. And you will be forever healthy, and you will never fall ill. وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَنْعَمُوا فَلَا تَبْأَسُوا أَبَدًا. And you will be in perpetual pleasure, and you will never be in need. You will never suffer poverty. You will never suffer. وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَشُبُّوا فَلَا تَهْرَمُوا أَبَدًا. And you will remain forever youthful, forever young, and you will never become old. When the people of paradise enter paradise, the angel in another narration calls out and says to them, Ya Ahl al-Jannah, khuludun fala maut. This angel stands between paradise and hellfire, so that they can hear what this angel says. The order of Allah comes. This angel knows. This angel has this task. Just like the angels that bring down the rain. They have this task and they know they must bring down the rain to certain places at certain times. Like that, this angel, like Israfil, alayhi salam, he has an appointed task. Like that, this angel has this appointed task. That when the time comes, this angel, it will take the stage, as it were, and be a spectacle for the people of paradise. And it will say, Ya Ahl al-Jannah, khulud fala maut. O people of paradise, everlastingness and no death. If in this world this was said to somebody, perhaps, and they were told that they are among the people of paradise, and they were standing, let's say, in paradise during this life, with these weak bodies, perhaps not just their heart, perhaps their eyes would explode. Khuludun la, while they're looking around and smelling and hearing and feeling, khuludun la maut. And also, the angel says to the people of hell, Ya Ahl an-Nar, who are actually the people of the fire, khulud fala maut. Everlastingness. They will remain in it forever. Khalidina fiha abada. Then, to further solidify this message in the hearts of the people of paradise and the people of hell, that they are to remain within it forever, an animal will be brought forward. Death, it will be given the shape of an animal. And this animal will be slaughtered. So that there, very clearly, for anyone of understanding, is the death of death. No more death. Allah, who created death in this world to be the soul coming out of bodies of humans, bodies of animals and insects, bodies of angels, bodies of the jinn. This is death. That's what death is. Death isn't falling from a high place. Oh, that's death. Death isn't being hit by a truck. Death isn't drowning. Rather, in all those situations, death only occurs because Allah willed for the soul to exit. Think about that. Allah has power over everything. Sometimes people go through something very extreme where you think, yeah, he's dead. But the person survives. Why? It was not willed for the soul to exit, because that's what death is. The angel had said, وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَصِحُّوا فَلَا تَسْقَمُوا أَبَدًا. And still here we're talking about the general luxuries of paradise that are for everybody. Everybody. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, and you will be forever healthy and will never become ill. Nobody in paradise will ever complain of something that many of us may suffer from every day. We might have a headache in one part of the head, not even the whole head, one part of the head, or a pain in the back. Okay, we're talking about physical pains now. You might also have a pain in the neck. That might be a metaphorical pain. You might have pain in the stomach. In paradise, none of that. وَلَا أَدْنَى شَيْءٍ. Not even something small. Anybody who in this life, they had a type of defect in their body, something that was defective, a disability, one of the parts of their body, one of their limbs wasn't functional, for example, one of their eyes, one of their ears, or their nose, or something else, their lungs, their liver, their stomach. In this life, perhaps, this is the case for a lot of people, they had a problem going to the bathroom. None of that in Al-Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ said, "La saqama fil Jannah." There is no illness in paradise. And in paradise, a person's strength is not diminished. In this life, you have people who are very, very strong. Okay? People in their 20s, people in their 30s, even their 40s, very, very strong. Sometimes you might find that they can lift large bits of furniture up. They take it off the truck, they take it into the house by themselves, on their back, on their head. But if they do that for a while, where do you find them? You find them leaning against the wall saying, "I need a rest." Okay, because strength diminishes, it depletes. They require this rejuvenation. They need to take a rest. Like that, sometimes you might find people who are, again, they have a lot of stamina. They can run for miles and miles and miles, but eventually they have to rest. That same person that was able to lift all that furniture, take it up the stairs and down the stairs and so on, you look at this person 30 or 40 years later, this is human nature. They need help going to the bathroom. This person who had so much stamina, look at them 30 or 40 years later, they are finding it difficult to breathe. They are wheezing. They might require someone to help them to wipe the nose or feed them. This is what happens in this life. You will know. If you have grandparents, you have parents. This is what Allah eternally willed for the norm to be in human beings. Strength diminishes. But this is not the case in paradise. No one in paradise becomes insane. No one in paradise becomes senile. No one in paradise becomes tired. There's no sleep in paradise. Nobody sleeps in paradise. You think about something that you do in your life as being an obedient slave of Allah, something that you really, really like doing. Okay? How long can you do it for? 1 hour? 2 hours? 3 hours? Think about that. Think about a child, an innocent child of 3 or 4 years old. The child says to its dad that, I want to pretend to ride a horse. So dad says, go on then, get on my back. Fine. Dad walks around for 5 minutes. Dad walks around for 10 minutes. And his daughter says, Daddy, more. He says, okay. He walks around for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. His wife comes in. Daddy says, please take her. I need to drink. I need some water. Give me some zamzam, something, give me a date. Even though one would love to see that smile on their daughter's face, they would love to see that smile on their son's face, and a person gets tired. But that person, inshallah, that father will sleep well at night. Because they got a lot of exercise. But mashallah, for the sake of Allah, they made their daughter happy. So in this life, people get tired. In Al-Jannah, that doesn't exist. Oh, you know why people don't sleep in paradise? Because sleep, the scholars said, it's from being fatigued physically, being tired, and also mentally being tired. Sometimes thinking a lot and worrying, being anxious about certain situations, this can actually make you sometimes more tired. Makes you feel more tired, so you fall asleep. Has this never happened to you when you've been really stressed about something? And you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. What happens? You fall asleep. Why? You get some relief. Yes, when you wake up, it's there again. You have those first few seconds where you don't know where you are and you're and suddenly it hits you. That's this life. In paradise, there is no physical fatigue. People don't get tired. And there's no mental fatigue. So, no physical fatigue, no mental fatigue, no need for sleep. What do they do in that time? They engage in that which pleases them. So there is no fear in paradise. There is no becoming insane or being senile in paradise. Rather, people are very, very energetic. Very energetic. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَنْعَمُوا فَلَا تَبْأَسُوا أَبَدًا. In paradise, people, they will not feel like they're in need. Like when you're in need of something in this life because you're ill. Or you're in need because you need help with something. That doesn't exist in paradise. People will, endowments will be bestowed upon them. and they will be enjoying them. So there is no need in paradise. There is no feeling uncomfortable in paradise. In this life, of course that exists. However, or whatever state a person is in this life, for example, if they have money, always what's on their mind is, okay, this month, how much money has gone out of that account? Did I pay for such and such? Huh? They took £5 more than they should have. What? I need to ring them. Why didn't they give me what they said they would give me? What? Okay. Whatever the state of a person is in this life, there is always a fear of being treated unjustly, of someone taking one's halal money, which is good, unrightfully. There is always worry about that. But in paradise, this does not happen, because the people, they are full of joy. They are full of joy. People in paradise, Shaykh Abdullah said, كل واحد من أهل الجنة يعيش عيشة الملوك. Every single person in paradise lives the life of a king. Every single person. It's not the case that a person would be ostracized or introverted in their castle somewhere, just by themselves, without people being around them. Rather, every single person among the people of paradise has 10,000 servants. These servants, they are not angels, they are not humans, and they are not jinn. Rather, they are special creations. Allah revealed about them that they are called Al-Wildan Al-Mukhalladun, everlasting youths that are not human beings. Special creations Allah created. Imagine. Now, no king has 10,000 loyal servants. There's always that one or those two that want to stick a knife in his back. Sometimes, you hear the stories of the people of the past and how it was the cousin who wanted the throne, and so he stabbed him in the back. Imagine 10,000 loyal servants who live for what purpose? To serve you. Like some servants sometimes, they might say to some kings, you might have read of kings in the past, and the servants say, we live to serve you, my king. We live to serve you, your majesty. In actual fact, they just want to stay alive. These are loyal servants, 10,000 for every person. Every single person. So whether a person among us, whether a man or a woman, every single person has 10,000 of these Al-Wildan Al-Mukhalladun. In one of their hands, each one of them, in one of their hands is a golden tray, serving whatever a person wants, and in the other hand a silver tray, serving a person whatever they want. In this life, if you go out somewhere and you order some food, okay, there's only so much food they can bring you. You order some food, they bring it on 2 trays, on 1 tray, whether they bring the trolley, they're only going to do that to a certain extent, right? Imagine 10,000 Al-Wildan Al-Mukhalladun. If a person wanted in paradise, if a person had 1 million requests for different types of food, they would bring them straight away, without any wait. You go to a restaurant and they bring you your food. And you look around and you say, you didn't put the thing on it. Oh, can we have some water? Inside it, how did you forget the water? Like, how do you think I would eat this without, drinking water? They forget the water. Al-Wildan al-Mukhalladun, 10,000. This is one person, not employed by you. This person, he's doing his job, to the best of his ability. He's not employed by you. He doesn't care that much. But these 10,000 creations, they are specifically assigned to you. If it's asked, who's Wildan al-Mukhalladun, are those ones over there? They belong to such and such person. And they say one of the names of the people of paradise. It could be that, inshallah. They say your name. These are that person's. Subhanallah. Allah Kareem. The mercy that Allah Ta'ala has upon us, what Allah has given us, it is much more than we deserve. Even if we do good deeds, we cannot match the countless number of endowments that Allah has bestowed upon us. We can't. What did a person do? Because you do something, you give and you get back, right? Okay. A person, let's say they became pubescent today, so they're accountable. And they have the correct belief, and they're a Muslim. 2 hours from now, they go outside and they collapse and they die. They were accountable for 2 hours. Allah gives them 10,000 Wildan al-Mukhalladun. Try and work that out. You can't. It's the generosity of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. At the very least, this person, 12? We said 13 years old? What did we say? 12 years old, let's say. He's 12 years old. In paradise, he will be 33 years of age, and he will have 2 wives at least in paradise. He will have a castle in paradise. And he will have, and he will have, and he will have. He will have a horse in paradise, made of rubies, that flies in paradise. He was accountable for 2 hours. Work that out. What did he give? He believed. Of course. The endowments of Allah, the endowments that Allah bestows, we cannot match them with our deeds. We cannot equate them with our deeds. Allah is generous, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So which king has that? Allah revealed in the Quran about Al-Wildan al-Mukhalladun, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ رَأَيْتَ نَعِيمًا وَمُلْكًا كَبِيرًا. A person sees, imagine, these 10,000 servants, it's like, this is that person's dominion. It's like a little village, a large village. Okay? Just for this person. Allahu Akbar. Mulkan kabira, a huge dominion. Which servants does a king have that Allah mentioned in the Quran, Al-Wildan al-Mukhalladun, that they are like lu'lu' maknoon, which is the untouched pearl. That's what they look like. Untouched pearls. But they have intellects, they speak, they have manners, they serve, they are kind. La ilaha illallah. That's just one thing. We're just mentioning Al-Wildan al-Mukhalladun. We've not gone on to mention other things yet. Just Al-Wildan al-Mukhalladun. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَشُبُّوا فَلَا تَهْرَمُوا أَبَدًا. Everybody in paradise is young. Everybody in paradise is 33 lunar years of age. Whether they lived to the age of 2,000 in this life. Sayyiduna Dhul Qarnayn radiyallahu anhu, this pious wali that trapped Ya'juj and Ma'juj, he ruled for 2,000 years. Forget living, forget his life. He ruled for 2,000 years. How long did he live? Allah knows best. He just rules for 2,000 years. So if a person thinks, wait a second, how are people going to live forever in paradise? People in this life, they've lived very, very, very long lives. Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salam, for more than 2,000 years, he has been in the sky and will descend. And when he descends, and he's been there for 2,000 years, when he descends, he will be 33 years of age. Isn't it? He received revelation at 30. He received the Injil at 30. He taught it for 3 years and then was raised to the sky. When he comes down, he will look like what he looked like when he was 33. He will be young. Allah has power over all things. As time passes over the people of paradise, the effects of old age won't appear on them. If you saw a person among the people of paradise today, and then you saw them 1,000,000 years later, they will look even better than they did. Because it's mentioned in a hadith that the people in paradise, they go to a souk, which is known as like a market. There's no buying and selling there. They go there, and Allah has made it be that a wind blows, a wind that contains nice fragrances, and it contains blessings, contains nur. What kind of a wind is this? Where can I find this wind? It contains blessings, it contains nice fragrances, and it contains nur. So when it hits the people, and they return back to their houses, the wives of these people say, "You've become even more beautiful. Where did you go? You've become even more beautiful." And that happens once every week. So rather than what happens in this life, people, the effects of old age begin to show on people. Okay, and then people start to use creams, and they start to use other things, and they start to hide certain things, and even people in their 50s and 60s and so on, they might start fasting regularly for their health now, not religiously. They start fasting. They might start watching the foods that they eat, make sure that they exercise and so on, so that they can increase, what they call longevity. But everyone is going to die in this life. In paradise, that's not the case. People remain as they were, or better than that. These are some of the general endowments or luxuries that people in paradise, that every single person in paradise will experience. Insha'Allah, next week we're going to mention some more matters that relate to this. We're going to mention where the people of paradise live, what they eat, and so on, and so on, and so on. And then we're going to also we're going to look at what the pious people in paradise have. Because the pious have all of this and more. And that is the aim, brothers and sisters. That is the aim. One of us should be pleased, insha'Allah, with entering paradise. But we should compete. Allah revealed in the Quran that this is al-Jannah that you should compete for. Not running after the world, as Sayyiduna Ali said. Sayyiduna Ali radiyallahu anhu said, he said, the world is a corpse or a carcass, and those that chase after it are dogs. So either a person is striving for the hereafter, and they would be honorable and noble, or they would strive after the world. And they would be what Sayyiduna Ali radiyallahu anhu said. And we don't want to be that, of course. And that only occurs, a person enters Al-Jannah safely without any torture if they learn the Islamic knowledge. There's no other way for an accountable person to reach paradise safely without any torture in the grave, on the day of judgment, or in hell. There's no other way. A person learns and implements and supports those that learn and implement. Ramadan is a great opportunity for that. A great opportunity for that. Ramadan, it may change a person's life in that if it's written for them that they are to die 25 years from now, but it's because of what they did in this Ramadan that they were saved from hell. A person wouldn't know now. They wouldn't know. But because of what they did in this life, worshipping Allah, making dua, crying in their sujood. If one doesn't cry in their sujood, then at least try. This is what the pious said. If one doesn't see the point, some people don't see the point. That's because they are far away from the Islamic knowledge and the Islamic practices. Some people say, someone said this to me once, they said, I'm not scared of death. I said, well, what I was thinking, I said something else. What I was thinking was, you haven't had an angel come to you and say, you're guaranteed to die upon al-Islam and you're not going to be tortured. And no special attention has been given to you. Revelation didn't come down and say that X person born on X day and dying on X day will be saved from hell. So why is that person not scared of death? And that person actually hadn't learned the religious knowledge either. They hadn't learned the religious knowledge, so I'm not scared of death. That's because they were oblivious to what death brings and what it means. There are Muslims who will be punished in the grave, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. There are Muslims that will be punished in the grave. We don't want to be among those people. And that's why we send reward to our loved ones. Isn't it? We are still here. We can acquire reward. And then we can ask Allah to grant them a similar reward. We recite the Quran at the graves for this reason. Lastly, paradise deserves for us to exert the effort to enter it. Many people, many people, and I hope that's not us here. Many people, they will regret not having used their time wisely. Some people complain rather than getting on with doing the good deeds. Some people will be very regretful. We'll stop here today, inshallah. Let's say, La ilaha illallah, and as-salah ala nabi. La ilaha illallah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.
Barakallahu fikum.